excited to introduce my dear friend, Giselle Ugarte. Guys, don't follow her, please do. Watch her videos. I have learned so much from just the short time that we've known each other. And I actually met her at Inman. She was on stage, she was speaking. And when I saw her up there, I was like, who is she? She's fabulous. She was wearing Air Force Ones and she was just on fire. And I love to just see a female on stage and dominating the way she did. So we are lucky enough to have her here today to tell us how to be amazing on camera and take over the social media world. Ta-da!
Yay! Thank you. Well, I'm really happy to be here and want you all to know that I'm a resource to you, especially right now. If you have any questions at any point during this conversation, please raise your hand. But it is so important that you have a healthy relationship with social media, first and foremost, like a healthy relationship with social media. For some, that's taboo. Like, what do you mean? Social media, it's a toxic place. It's fake. It's a highlight reel. No, babe, it does not have to be that. If that's what it is to you, that's on you. Because these platforms, the algorithms, it is a direct reflection of you. They are following you around. They're following your habits. They're figuring out how do we keep you on here and for longer based on what you are doing and to yourself, even if it's self-sabotaging and having those toxic, addictive habits. So I want to teach you how to have a healthy relationship with social media, how to take control of it so that it doesn't take control of you or your kids or your relationships. Because otherwise it will spiral out of control. And otherwise it will show through in your content. And otherwise you will get burnt out or feel left out. And then once you have that strong foundation, learning how you can use it to elevate your personal brand and start attracting the right relationships. And that's the key here too. We look at all these different platforms like a different beast. It is one more place to meet people. It is one more place to show who you are and what matters to you. It is one more place to repel the people who you don't want to work with because you're showing the whole human that is you. Your portfolio, it's not just your listings. It's who you are as a human being. The other promising thing is that for the very first time in perhaps ever, you have platforms like Instagram and TikTok and LinkedIn that it is easier to grow more than it has ever been in the past. Why? Because your content is guaranteed to be put in front of people who do not know you, who do not follow you, and in a very targeted way without having to pay for advertising. And so I don't know about y'all, but I'm tired. I don't want to work harder. If I could just have business come to me, that would be the way to go versus having to keep knocking on the doors or getting hung up on or feeling like I'm just creating and creating and creating with no return whatsoever. Does that sound good to you? Yes or yes? Yes. Okay.
So I get this question all the time from the team. What should I be posting? What do I say on camera? What should I be doing as a realtor? What do you suggest as the professional that you are?
I want all of you to ask yourself, what's my intention? What's my purpose of being here? Like, that's even a question that I ask myself before I walk into any physical room, any physical party. Like, what am I trying to do here? Am I just letting my hair down, having fun, letting the night take me? Or am I here to meet someone? Am I here to get business? What is your intention? So if you're on social media, what is your goal? Because you can look at what Nancy's doing and copy what she's doing, but I guarantee you that her, as the leader of this brokerage, her goals are completely different than yours. So ask yourself, what's my goal? Is your goal that you want to get more clients? Is your goal that you want to attract more team members? Is your goal that you want to be able to start reaching a higher price point in what it is that you're doing? If, for example, your goal is I want to focus on building my team and I only want to sell properties that are over $5 million, then it doesn't really make sense for you to be giving tips to first-time home buyers within the price point of say $300,000 to $500,000. You might get more views, but if that's not what you're trying to do, then that's not going to help your overall goal. If you're in the business of making views, congratulations, there's a beautiful creator economy that can pay you per views. But if you actually have an intention, let's figure out how can we see those numbers in your bank account. And that's where I always share the example of, I had a client who, same thing, she found herself making all this content around first-time home buyers because she's like, well, my friend does that and they get all these views. Okay, but what do we actually want to do? And we looked at her goal. Her goal as a personal investor was she wanted to buy some more doors. What she's really passionate about is teaching other people how they can do the same. Build their portfolios, get into investment properties, get into multifamily properties within certain regions. And I looked at her profile and I was like, there is nothing here about investment. There's nothing here about generating wealth. There's nothing here about how to get started, where to get started, about what multifamily even means, about stories about you and your investment. And so this girl had 1,400, maybe 1,500 followers, and that is it. From one video, she got 25 qualified investment leads and 6 referral partners that were brand new. All because she posted with intention. She posted with that idea in mind that she wanted to go towards that investment. She had in her head the type of investor and the level at which they were at, which again, we have to think about that too, because sometimes we get way too caught up into thinking that we have to use really, really big words and like we're making content for each other or for our team leads when our clients might not even know what equity means. If there's no context, it means nothing. So I want you to think about who is my content for? All right, so now we have 2 pieces of the equation. I know where I want to go, and now I know who is that person who I want to reach. How are they hearing the material that I'm saying? And then that's when we can start figuring out what the messaging looks like. Let's just say that you do love working with that first-time home buyer. I know that for some of you, that lights you up. Think about what were some of the questions that they asked. Some of them are super duper basic. What were some of the things that I addressed? It might be as simple as, what is the process of buying a house actually like? What type of approval do you actually have to go through in order to be eligible? That's where the content comes from. How can I, and I want you to write this down, how can I answer a question before it is even asked of me? How can I remove any doubt before someone even meets me? Because how fun it is for me when I get on a call and someone doesn't even ask how much I cost, they just go, I just know that I want to work with you, you're my person. Like, clearly you are who you say you are, so like, let's just send me the paperwork, yeah, we're good, whatever we need. Where you do yourself a disservice is when who shows up online is totally different. Ways that we do that by accident, not even realizing, using filters. Ladies, I'm looking at you. The filters are fucking you up, okay? Trust me, I love a good spray tan. I love my fake eyelashes. I love me some Botox. Guess what? That follows me everywhere I go. The filter does not follow you. I want online you and offline you to match. I want that picture that you have in your profile picture or that email signature to match. Why would I trust you with my most vulnerable investment asset if you yourself are not opening yourself up to me? The other thing is we're thinking that we need this masterful production, or that we have to say every single word perfect, or that we have to read a script. You know, like all of you have made phone calls, you've gone through the training, and yes, at first you might be a little reliant on that script, but eventually you make it your own. Like, think about the video as your client called you and said, hey, can you answer me this question really quick? You don't have to be the encyclopedia of real estate, you just need to answer that question and leave them wanting more. If they want more details, they'll let you know. Videos are a conversation starter. Your post is a conversation starter. Your portfolio is your new business card, but it's allowing you to create context without the need to physically even be there. And you need to think about not just the people who are following you, but especially the ones who are not. Like most of your most important people, they don't want to leave a trail at all. And you just want your profile to speak for you. So do that test, like what's my profile saying about me? What is my profile attracting? Who am I attracting? Because that's the #1 correction that I give to anyone who says, hey, can you look at my profile really quick? Most of the time I'm like, sign up for my course. But if I do, the first thing I'll say is, I have no idea who you're talking to. Because if you're trying to make content for everyone, it's gonna be for no one.
I love that. And when it comes to the filters, for me, it's very hard. And I think as women, it's hard, right? Because I wake up and no one wants to put a picture, a video of themselves when they wake up. So it's so easy. And I'm looking for Grace. I don't see her to swipe the Paris because that kind of smoothens everything out. But when I did stop using the filters when we met, it does change because it helps other individuals that follow you connect with you. So at first I was like, me putting a filter, she's crazy. Me putting a filter on myself is not gonna matter to whoever's watching me. But as soon as I took it off, I honestly saw it. I realized that those that were following me started to send me messages, started to connect and see that I was a real person as well. So I love that. I think that's a very important lesson that we all need to learn.
Can you jump from different niches? So you can look at this in a few different ways, and I want to explore this question in two things. So for you, you're kind of talking about like the different topics that you talk about. For example, you mentioned building a team and also the luxury client. But I also think that some people struggle with this in terms of like your personal and your professional and thinking that they need to be separate. You are a person, not a product. Treat yourself as such. Because if you niche down too much, they say riches are in the niches, right? Riches are in the niches. If you're a product, sure. But if you're a person, riches are in the niches only if you want to grow fast and then burn out because you got lost in the topic and forgot that you were a human being. So longevity is going to be giving yourself permission to show the whole person that you are. There's no reason why you should have two separate profiles for your interests or for personal and professional. Y'all are entrepreneurs. You are a reflection of your work. Your work is a reflection of you. You are one and the same. When it comes to the different messaging types, depending on your brain, I have some clients who they're like, Giselle, I need to have a routine. I need to go 1, 2, 3. This one's for agents. This one's for clients. This one's for personal wild card. And if that's how your brain works, great. I just want to be able to go to your profile, and if I tap on anything or if I tap around in that first 9 tiles or the first 3 posts, I just want to be able to get like a nice variety. And the nice thing about every platform is there's a featured section or a pinned section. And so you can also curate what those 3 things are. And so if you have one about building a team, you have one about attracting your clients, and I would say that everybody should have some type of an introduction post, but just so that that way someone can, brand new to you, get a good feel for who you are, whether it's as a video, a carousel of posts showing you in different emotions, backgrounds, variety, whatever. You don't have to share everything. It's your prerogative. You get to decide what's personal, what's private, but you get to decide what that looks like for you. So I would challenge you to just make sure that in that first 9 tiles or in those first 3 posts, you have something that is beneficial to both of them. And they can be specifically targeted, or, it is possible to have a post where you know that there are going to be multiple people who are interested to know what you have to say about a certain topic or category.
I guess something else would be, hey, I have 300 followers. What should I be posting? More video, more pictures? What do you suggest?
A shitty reel will never outperform a static post, period. There is this myth thinking, oh, Instagram is pushing reels. Or, oh, now there was headlines saying that Instagram is going to go back to being more photo focused. Here's why you shouldn't give a fuck. On your feed, you're still seeing all of it. And what you're going to see is what's getting engaged with. Engaged with means commented on or time spent on. So what you should be posting are, how can I get someone to spend more time on this? What I will say is that if you're going to post a photo and not a video, it should be multiple. It should be at least 2, up to 10. If you're going to post a video, great, but I need to be pulled in and immediately in that first frame. So I want you to pay attention to your own human experience of what am I enjoying seeing? What am I engaging with? When we look at psychologically how we connect with people, on like a list, there's real life, like that's the top, of course. Second to that would be live video. So for example, you're watching someone's live, you're on Zoom with someone, you're FaceTiming with someone. Beneath that, it's actual video. And then beneath that, you're going into pictures, you're going into text. And again, those are all ways that we do connect with people, but thinking about how do we get to that point faster, video absolutely is one way that you can do it, especially if you're comfortable enough on video to show who the real you is versus thinking that it has to be a manufactured version of it. I think the best combination is having some stuff that is professional and some stuff that is candid. And I also feel like it's worth saying, do you need to have a fancy production team? You don't. Like, you really, really don't. And a lot of people do feel like they can trust you more when they feel like they are FaceTiming with you, when it feels like they're just talking to you. And the only reason why you might want to consider using a professional camera or hiring a videographer might be if you're consistently pushing it off and you need that accountability, kind of like a personal trainer. Like, we know how to do squats, we know how to run, but if we don't book that appointment or have that cancellation clause, we're not going to show up and we're not going to go to the gym. So if you have that videographer to push you, then that might be helpful for you. Or for you, it might be time. I don't have time to do this. Okay, cool. So let's set aside some time every week or every month, and you work with someone and you pull out all the shit that you want, and then they do it. Or if you are trying to level up in terms of your price point, if you're in that space of you're wanting to make sure that this client is investing in staging or trusts that you are going to market the shit out of their property, if your profile looks very elementary, then that could potentially be trust lost. If they can see that you yourself are investing in marketing, then that's going to be one more reason why they would go, oh, well, they're investing in themselves. So yes, that makes a lot of sense. It's going to be one more easy way for them to say absolutely. But again, even for those luxury properties, there's still a time and a place to use your phone, because we're still seeing the organic version of you showing up, and we know that it's not a catfish just pulling videos from someone else's profile.
TikTok, where are we headed with TikTok? What should I be doing? Is TikTok still a thing or is it not? What are your thoughts?
I'll be honest with you, my belief in TikTok has gone down significantly. For me, it's just that TikTok has changed a lot over the last year, where other platforms were trying to be more like TikTok. TikTok lost some of the sparkle by trying to become like the platforms that weren't making us happy, and they've made their user experience significantly more complicated. I want you to get as easy of a yes as possible, and so I'm not saying don't get on TikTok. If you want to get on TikTok, and if TikTok makes you happy, and if it gives you a sense of confidence and creativity, go for it. But I've simply noticed that the messaging experience, the community experience, and the overall platform in general is significantly more disorganized than it used to be. Then I would rather you spend your time on a platform that you already know, like Instagram. So for me right now, the places where I see the most potential are Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Here's another thing that I want you to think about. What is your link in bio? What is your link in bio? Because for a lot of you, I click on link in bio and you're giving me more hoops to jump through. I want it to be as easy as possible to get the information that I want and or to get in front of you. If your link in bio is all of these articles that are out of date, all of your other social media platforms that I don't give a shit, all of these other agents, or like a random general website, which maybe your website's good, but 99% of real estate websites that I see are not. So if it's not a contact page or something really simple, then the problem might not be your content, it is your link in bio. We want to get as easy to that yes as possible. So check your link in bio. Where are you sending people? Send them to a contact page. Send them to a scheduling page. If you're going to have a link tree or an assortment of things, it should be 3, no more than 5 tops, and it should not be your other social pages. If I'm on Instagram, I don't then want to go to TikTok. Like, that's just not natively how our brain works. Like, I want to stay there and just get to you. Okay, number 1, the question was replying back to comments. I'm going to give you a diagnosis, which is that you worked in real estate. Therefore, you think that everything is urgent. You think that everything is important and all the time. So with that, that's not just a social media issue. That's something that you really have to take a step back and determine what your boundaries look like for you. One thing that I have done with social media is I have turned all notifications off on social media. None of them, all off. Every now and then I might turn them on for my primary inbox because some people don't have my phone number, but otherwise all of my notifications are off. I don't see a little red circle on Instagram, I don't get a buzz, I don't get nothing. And that on its own helps significantly. Do you have to respond to every single comment? You don't. But if you are wanting to drive engagement and if you're wanting to create community, then at least make sure that the comments that you are responding to, that it's meaningful. Just designating some time to do it, to show that you're active, you're not just pumping and dumping your content, and being intentional with your time. How do you decide what content you want to post on which platform?
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn. Okay, we're still stuck in our own little boxes of what LinkedIn is supposed to be. So in actuality, you will stand out more on LinkedIn if you start posting more of who you are and less of just the braggadocious, stale cookie cutter moments. LinkedIn for sure has the most like recycled, stupid templates that people get from their businesses or their brokerages. But if you create some context or you share some of what you're doing or you offer advice, perspective, opinion, then that's going to stand out even more. You know, as far as what type of content to post on LinkedIn, post what you feel would be relevant for that client that you want to attract. And again, just know what your intention is going on that platform and know who it is that you're trying to reach. If you're like, I'm going on LinkedIn because I want to reach people in the commercial space, cool. Let's make sure that what we're posting there is all about commercial. And if we're posting there once a week, great. Doesn't have to be every single day because it's not chronological anymore. But let's just have some intention behind it and let's make sure that you can actually hear our voice in what it is that we're writing and not like it's just a stale message like everybody else. That's when it's going to get lost. How can we be smart about our time and scaling it and get our posts to last longer and get more of that engagement? That's one of the ways that we do it.
Well, I feel like we all learned so much today, your perspective on so many things. I have so many different ideas, and we're just so thankful that you were here with us today.
I'm happy to be here.
So everybody, let's give Giselle a round of applause.